Welcome back to Explore the World. Today, we will take a closer look at Myanmar, a country currently in the midst of a civil war. Life in Myanmar has become unpredictable, power cuts are frequent, strikes are erupting, factories are closing, and the prices of fuel and food are soaring, pushing millions of people into poverty. How did this civil war come about? And what will be the outcome for this nation of 54 million people? What choices do the people of Myanmar face in their pursuit of peace? All of these questions and more will be explored in today's video. Stay tuned to find out more. The civil war in Myanmar takes place in the context of a country that has long suffered from deep ethnic divisions and political instability since its independence in 1948. Recently, on January 31, 2025, Myanmar's National Defense and Security Council extended the state of emergency for another 6 months, until July 31, 2025. This is the 7th extension since the military coup in February 2021. The election in Myanmar is expected to take place only in the second half of this year. The civil war in Myanmar did not start with the 2021 coup but has a much longer history. The military conflicts in Myanmar can be seen as a continuation of the ethnic armed groups' struggle since 1948. When the Karen National Union first organized armed resistance against the Myanmar government. Ethnic armed groups, along with political parties, have been involved in conflicts for over 70 years. Myanmar currently has 135 ethnic groups, with more than 100 different languages, and its regions are divided by high mountains. This makes it difficult for the government to manage the territory, leaving the country vulnerable to foreign powers influencing and inciting rebellions. Armed factions and criminal groups within the country are in constant conflict, leading to the absence of a unified national administrative system. Since the coup, the situation in Myanmar has worsened. The civil war has severely affected the country's security, politics, and economy. The economy has been disrupted due to energy shortages, especially with frequent power outages, directly affecting production and daily life. The conflict has also resulted in a severe depletion of resources, as armed groups and the military government sell the country's resources to neighboring countries such as Thailand and China, particularly in the fields of hydropower and rare earth mining. Frequent attacks on civilians occur as the military government attempts to suppress ethnic armed groups. This leads to a loss of security and abuse of power, especially against women and children. Myanmar remains a country devastated by war and instability, with increasing poverty and a shortage of many essential goods. The civil war in Myanmar has caused significant damage to both civilians and infrastructure, with non-state armed groups exploiting women and abusing children. The ongoing conflict has escalated tensions along Myanmar's borders with neighboring countries such as China, India, Thailand, and Bangladesh. The military government, seeking to crush armed ethnic organizations, EAOs, has intensified its attacks on regions where these forces are based, particularly along the border areas. In Chin State, military attacks have threatened the security of India's northeastern region, with a bomb from the military government falling into Indian territory during an attempt to dismantle an EAO position. Similar incidents have occurred along the China-Myanmar border, where bomb fragments have regularly fallen into Chinese territory, amid the fighting between the EAOs and Myanmar's military government. The violence in Myanmar has also led to the displacement of 220 Thai citizens from 2 villages in Mae Hong Son province, located near the Myanmar border. At least 1 Thai citizen was shot and hospitalized. Additionally, Myanmar's Kin Ma village was set on fire by terrorist groups, with over 100 houses destroyed, leaving only charred ruins. The UK embassy in Myanmar condemned the fire, accusing the military of burning down the village and killing elderly people, further showing the military's disregard for the people of Myanmar. The conflict's impact is not only felt in Myanmar but also affects neighboring countries and other nations in Southeast Asia. Investments from Japan, South Korea, and Singapore remain uncollected due to the instability, while illegal immigration from Myanmar has placed pressure on neighboring countries. Currently, Myanmar's civil war is at a crossroads. There are 3 possible outcomes. First, the military government could dissolve and hold free elections. Second, the military government could negotiate with rebel groups, sharing power while maintaining control over key positions. Or third, it could be completely defeated. According to recent estimates, Around 15 soldiers are killed every day in the fighting, far exceeding the losses suffered by the People's Defense Forces, PDF. The PDF has developed effective strategies, such as ambushing and assassinating government officials, and using social media to encourage defections from the military. In places like Arakan State, the Arakan army has gained control of nearly the entire state, with the military only holding around 20% of the villages and towns. In central Myanmar, the PDF has clashed with government forces just tens of kilometers from Naypyidaw and has intensified its attacks on Yangon, Myanmar's largest city. Despite this, there are no signs that the military government will be able to regain the territory it has lost. On the international stage, many countries have turned their backs on Myanmar's military government, with sanctions being imposed. Recently, the U.S. Congress passed a law that supports non-lethal assistance to Myanmar's resistance forces, and will work more closely with the National Unity Government of Myanmar. Even Thailand, under Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who had tried to legitimize Myanmar's military government, has now declared support for restoring democracy in Myanmar. However, a victory for Myanmar's National Unity Government remains a long road ahead, as senior commanders of the military are aware they will face war crimes trials if they lose. At this point, the military seems to have few options left. The lives of Myanmar's citizens remain in chaos, and it's uncertain when peace will return. The situation in Myanmar has escalated with ongoing civil unrest, leading to frequent strikes, factory closures, and skyrocketing fuel and food prices. This economic turmoil has plunged millions of people into poverty. Despite Myanmar being a rice exporter, the economic system and banking infrastructure have collapsed, leaving those with savings waiting in long lines to withdraw cash. Businesses are struggling, and even a simple meal like a bowl of dried fish is out of reach for many, with prices reaching 6,000 VND for a single bowl. For families like that of Win Nan, a 26-year-old father of 3, the crisis has forced many to switch from eating regular meals, like pork, to cheaper options like fish and vegetables. Some can only afford rice and salt now. On top of this, Myanmar is facing frequent power outages due to internal conflict and an aging infrastructure, especially in major cities like Yangon. Electricity is only available during limited hours, causing major disruptions in daily life, and forcing people to adjust their routines. In early February 2025, Thailand decided to cut electricity and internet supply to Myanmar's regions, significantly affecting Myanmar's fraudulent businesses, leading to the dissolution of multiple criminal gangs. This has also resulted in the return of many migrant workers and raised concerns about rising crime. The frequent blackouts and power shortages are hampering various industries, particularly those involved in online gambling and fraud. Moreover, Myanmar has become a hotspot for human trafficking, with foreign workers being forced into illegal activities like online scams and cryptocurrency fraud. These workers are often held in captivity and forced to work under threat of violence. The military government has reported deporting over 55,000 foreign nationals involved in these criminal networks since October 2023. Amidst all this, local residents have started protesting against the power shortages and demanding the government negotiate with Thailand to restore electricity and oil supplies. Crisis has also severely impacted Myanmar's healthcare system, as Western countries have imposed sanctions, exacerbating the lack of essential medicines. The people of Myanmar continue to endure hardships, even as markets remain open, but transactions are conducted by the dim light of oil lamps and rechargeable batteries. Despite the ongoing civil war, life goes on for many, as they continue to struggle for survival. One peculiar aspect of Myanmar's daily life is the widespread use of Tanaka, a traditional skincare product made from ground tree bark, which is commonly applied by both men and women. In Myanmar's capital, Naypyidaw, the situation is even more peculiar. The city is sparsely populated, with just 9,246 residents in an area of over 7,000 square kilometers, much larger than cities like London or New York. The city appears empty, with few vehicles on the streets and little to no crowding, creating an eerie atmosphere of post-apocalyptic quiet. There are no signs of bustling activity, and the roads are wide with many lanes, ensuring there is no traffic congestion, but the emptiness is stark. Myanmar, a country with a long and complicated history, has experienced many political, economic and social changes. In particular, the transition from left-hand to right-hand traffic in the 1970s was a shocking move. This decision by the Myanmar government not only caused traffic chaos, but also made life difficult for people, as they had to adjust their daily travel habits in a society full of instability. In addition to traffic problems, the lives of Myanmar people today are also deeply affected by war and civil strife. Meanwhile, means of transport such as buses, trucks and taxis reflect the difficulty in managing infrastructure and the growing demand for mobility. Overcrowded trucks, taxis that cannot close their trunks, or primitive vehicles that drive haphazardly between lanes are images of the chaos in Myanmar society. At the same time, Myanmar is still in a state of war, and people in the capital Naypyidaw and other cities are living in danger, as armed groups are constantly trying to attack to establish a new government. This situation not only threatens national security, but also puts pressure on neighboring countries and makes the people of Myanmar live in anxiety and uncertainty about the future. Hopefully, one day Myanmar can achieve peace, stability and development so that people can live in a more peaceful environment, and surrounding countries can also benefit from this peace. What is the most impressive thing about Myanmar? Please share your opinion in the comments section below to discuss with Explore the World. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope Myanmar will find the path to peace and stability in the future. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.